welcome back to the JAP Geo Academy YouTube channel. So this is going to be structural geology, and this is lecture 1. Okay, I have already taught some basic things in my Google Meet class. So if you have any doubt, you can comment me, and I will teach that topic. So here I am going to discuss about work obtaining or strength obtaining. Okay, so in this case, it is the case where less stress is required to keep the deformation going. So what is stress obtaining? When the stress required is very less to keep the deformation go on. Okay, so this is the key term, less stress to keep the deformation going. So less stress is required to keep the deformation going. So geological example is that the effect of grain size reduction during plastic deformation. So when plastic deformation occur, the plastic deformation occur. What is plastic deformation? The material we are applying stress will not recover to its original shape and size is called plastic deformation. Okay, like faulting, that is brittle deformation. So geological example is the effect of grain size reduction during the plastic deformation, which is called myelonictization. Okay, you can you have know this term in your BSc. So grain size reduction makes the deformation mechanism such as grain boundary sliding. So grain boundary sliding will occur. Okay, more effect because of the increasing grain surface area. When the grain sliding will occur, it will increase the surface area. Okay, so grain size reduction is the phenomena caused by work obtaining or stress. Another important term is rock failure and failure criteria. Okay, rock failure and fracture criteria So brittle deformation is mostly confined to the shallow depth only. So brittle deformation will only occur from shallow depth from the earth surface. Okay, next, from the stress strain curve for brittle deformation, we know that a rock undergoing brittle deformation will first stretch elastically. So if a rock is undergoing deformation or brittle deformation, it will first stretch to some value, and then what will happen? Get fracture at critical stress value, and then it will get fractured to a critical stress value called the brittle or failure strength of the rock, which is called the failure or fracture strength of the rock. Okay, so look here the diagram, stress strain diagram. So this is the stress, this is the strain. Here first of all elastic deformation is occur, Hooke's law, with elastic limit stress is directly proportional to strain, and then it will be flattened, and then finally it will get fractured to this point. This is the point of failure. Okay, so it will first stretch elastically when stress is directly proportional to strain, according to Hooke's law, within elastic limits. This is the elastic limit, and in awesome it is more or less flattened, and then it will get failure, and this is the fracture. Okay, now under condition of constant temperature and constant positive confining pressure, which is compressive stress, fracturing of a rock largely depends on the differential stress sigma 1 minus sigma 3. Okay, larger the differential stress leads to greater amount of fracturing. So when under the condition of constant stress and constant positive confining pressure, the fracturing which will happen to a rock will depend largely on the differential stress, that is sigma 1 minus sigma 3. Greater the differential stress, greater will be the value of fracturing. Okay, fracture. If the differential stress is higher, then the fracture will be greater. Now second thing is that if the differential stress is absent, now what will happen if this is absent, if the differential stress is absent, then the state of stress is lithostatic. Okay, then the state of stress what we call lithostatic, because only the mean stress will be present. What is the mean stress? If sigma 1, sigma 2 and sigma 3 are present, then mean stress will be sigma 1 plus sigma 2 plus sigma 3 divided by 3. This mean stress will be only acted upon if the differential stress is absent. Okay. Now, other two important criteria are initiation of fracture requires a differential stress greater than the rock stress. So, to fracture a rock, we have to require a differential stress which is greater than the strength of rock. If this is 5, if this is 10, this must be 5. If this is 2, this must be 3. Okay. Sorry. If this is 10, oh yeah. If this is 2, this is 1. Okay. Now the final important requirement is that the strength of a rock increases with the confining pressure. We know that the strength of the rock will increase with the confining pressure, or the depth of burial also. So if the depth of burial is increasing, the strength of rock is increasing. If the confining pressure is increasing, then the strength of rock is also increasing. Thus, a rock's strength is lowest near the earth's surface and increases with depth. So this is obvious. In the earth's surface, the strength is lower and the depth it is higher. Hence, in order to fracture a rock, the differential stress also be increases. Thus, to fracture a rock, we have to increase the differential stress as the depth of burial is increasing and the confining pressure is increasing. We have to increase the differential stress. Okay. So increases with increasing confining pressure. With increasing confining pressure, we have to increase the differential stress also. Okay. So this is the end of the lecture. In the next class, we will discuss the Coulomb fracture criteria. The Coulomb fracture criteria. Now, if you have any doubt, you can comment me and stay tuned with the channel. Now, thank you for your patience.